The Journey Back to You, a book of healing, wholeness, and unconditional love. For every heart that forgot its own beauty, for every soul still searching for home, you are the one you have been waiting for. Chapter 1. The Invitation. There comes a moment in every life when the soul whispers something the mind has tried so hard to ignore. It does not shout. It does not demand. It simply says gently, as if it has been saying it all along, "Come home." Perhaps you are hearing these words at the end of a long day, when the house is quiet and the world has stopped asking things of you. Perhaps you found this recording during a season of searching, when nothing outside of you seemed to fill the space inside. Or perhaps someone shared it with you and said, "This is for you," and something in your chest recognized the truth of that before your mind could argue. This book is not a set of instructions. It is not a list of things you must fix about yourself. You are not broken. You have never been broken. You have only forgotten. And forgetting is not a flaw. It is what happens when the world is loud and the heart learns, too young that silence is safer than song. What you hold in your hands is an invitation to return to the one person you have spent your whole life running from, running toward, running around, and never quite reaching. Yourself. Not the self you show the world. Not the self you constructed from the expectations of others. Not the self that learned to shrink so it would not take up too much space. But the real you, the one who existed before the first wound. The one who laughed without checking to see if it was too loud. The one who loved without asking whether that love would be returned. The journey you are about to take is not a straight line. It spirals, it dips, it pauses. There will be chapters that feel like warm sunlight and chapters that feel like standing in the rain. That is as it should be. Healing does not happen in a single direction. It happens in circles that grow wider and wider until one day the circle is large enough to hold all of you. You do not need to be ready. You do not need to be brave. You do not need to understand what is about to happen. You only need to be willing. Willing to sit with yourself for a little while. Willing to let these words reach the places inside you that have been waiting so patiently to be reached. I will not ask you to think your way through this. I will ask you to feel, to let the words land where they land, to notice what stirs, to let tears come if they come, and to let stillness come if that is what arrives instead. There is no wrong way to receive what is offered here. Somewhere inside you, there is a door you closed long ago. Behind that door is everything you have been looking for. Not happiness as the world defines it. Not perfection. Not the absence of pain. But something far more beautiful. The presence of you. All of you, whole, unedited, unashamed. This book will walk you to that door. It will sit with you while you find the courage to open it. And when you do, it will remind you of what was always waiting on the other side. Love. Not the kind you earn, not the kind you beg for, not the kind that comes with conditions and fine print and the quiet terror of losing it, but love that simply is, love that does not need a reason, Love that does not ask you to be anything other than what you are. That love has a name. It is called you. And so we begin. Chapter 2. The Forgetting. You were born knowing. You arrived in this world with your heart wide open, your lungs full of first breath, your tiny hands reaching for something your soul already understood. You did not question whether you deserved to be here. You did not wonder if you were enough. You simply were. And in that being, you were perfect. Watch any infant and you will see it. That raw, unfiltered presence. The way they cry without shame. The way they laugh with their entire body. The way they reach for the faces of those who hold them, not because they have earned the right to be held, but because being held is their birthright. You were like that once, before the forgetting. The forgetting does not happen all at once. It happens in layers, like snow falling so softly you do not notice the ground disappearing beneath it. A careless word from someone you loved. A moment when your feelings were too big for the room. A time when you needed someone to see you and they were looking somewhere else. None of these moments were your fault, and most of the people involved did not know what they were doing. They were lost in their own forgetting. They were passing down what had been passed to them like a package no one ever thought to unwrap and examine. But the effect was the same. Little by little you began to learn. You learned that some parts of you were acceptable and others were not. You learned that love had conditions, even if no one called them that. You learned that the world was safer when you were smaller, quieter, more agreeable, less yourself. The forgetting is not a single event. It is a slow erosion. Like a river wearing down a stone, the messages of the world wore down your knowing. Be good, be quiet, be strong. Do not cry. Do not need. Do not want too much. Do not take up space. Do not make a mess. Do not be a burden. And with each message, a little more of you went underground. Not gone, never gone, but hidden, tucked away in a place so deep you forgot it was there. You forgot that your sensitivity was a gift. You forgot that your tears were a language. You forgot that your anger was a compass pointing towards something that mattered. You forgot that your joy did not need permission. You forgot that your body was not a problem to be solved, but a home to be lived in. Most of all, you forgot that you were already whole. And in the absence of that knowing, you began to search. You searched in the eyes of lovers for proof that you were lovable. You searched in the approval of others for proof that you were valuable. You searched in achievements and titles and possessions for proof that you mattered. And sometimes you found something that felt like what you were looking for, but it never lasted. Because what you were searching for was not out there. It had been inside you all along, buried beneath the snow. This chapter is not meant to make you sad. It is meant to make you tender. Tender toward the child you were, who did the only thing they knew how to do. Tender toward the adults who could not give what they did not have. Tender toward the long, winding road that brought you here, to this moment, to these words. Because here is the beautiful secret the world forgot to tell you. What has been forgotten can be remembered. What has been buried can be uncovered. What has been lost can be found. and the remembering begins now. You were whole before the world told you otherwise. That wholeness is still yours. Chapter 3. The Mask We Wore. When the real you did not feel safe, you did something extraordinary. Something so creative and so brave that it deserves to be honored before it is released. You built another you, a version of yourself that could navigate the world without getting hurt. A self that smiled when smiling was expected. A self that performed when performance was rewarded. A self that said, "I am fine," so convincingly that even you believed it. This was not weakness. This was survival. And you survived. Let that land for a moment. Whatever you had to become in order to get through, it worked. You are here. You are breathing. You are hearing these words. The mask did its job. But there comes a time when the mask that protected you begins to imprison you. When the role you played so well becomes a cage so familiar, you mistake it for your skin. When you have worn the disguise for so long that you cannot remember what your own face looks like, perhaps you became the strong one, the one everyone leaned on, the one who held it all together while quietly falling apart inside. And now you do not know how to need. You do not know how to ask. You do not know how to let someone else hold the weight because the mask told you that needing was weakness and weakness was dangerous. Perhaps you became the pleaser, the one who read the room before reading your own heart, the one who bent and shaped and molded yourself to fit whatever was expected. And now you do not know what you actually want. You do not know what you actually feel. You have been so busy being what others needed that the real you has been standing in the corner, waiting, silent, forgotten. Perhaps you became the achiever, the one who ran faster, worked harder, reached higher, because somewhere deep inside you believed that if you stopped producing, you would stop mattering. And now you cannot rest. You cannot be still. You cannot simply exist without earning your existence. Perhaps you became the invisible one, the one who learned that the safest place was the background, the one who made themselves small so they would not be a target. And now you do not know how to be seen. You do not know how to take up the space that is rightfully yours. Whatever mask you wore, know this: it was never the real you. It was a coat you put on against the cold. And now the weather is changing. Now you are in a place where the coat can come off, not all at once, not violently, but gently, one button at a time. Taking off the mask is not about rejecting who you have been. It is about expanding into who you actually are. The strong one can learn to be soft. The pleaser can learn to say no. The achiever can learn to rest. The invisible one can learn to shine. None of these old selves need to be destroyed. They need to be thanked. And then, lovingly, they need to be released from duty. You do not owe the world a performance. You do not owe anyone a version of yourself that costs you your own life. The people who truly love you do not love the mask. They love the flicker of realness they catch in your unguarded moments, the laugh that slips out before you can edit it, the tears that come before you can stop them, the truth that escapes before the mask can catch it. That is who they love. That is who you are. And that person, the one beneath the mask, is the one these words are meant for. The mask kept you safe. Now it is safe to take it off. Chapter 4. The Voice Within. Beneath the noise of the world, beneath the chatter of your thoughts, beneath the opinions of others that have taken up residence in your mind, like uninvited guests who never left, there is a voice. It is quiet. It is steady. It has been speaking to you your entire life. You have heard it in those rare moments of stillness, in the space between sleep and waking, in the middle of a walk when your mind finally stopped racing, in the sudden clarity that arrives after a good cry. It does not argue, it does not persuade, it simply knows. And when it speaks, something inside you recognizes the sound, the way you would recognize your own name spoken in a crowded room. This voice is your truth, your intuition, your inner knowing. It is the part of you that was never wounded because it lives beneath the wounds. It is the part of you that was never confused because it exists beyond the stories. Some call it the soul, some call it the higher self, some call it the still small voice. The name does not matter. What matters is that it is yours and it has never stopped guiding you. But you learned to stop listening. You stopped listening when you trusted your gut and someone told you that you were wrong. You stopped listening when your heart said no and the world said you were being difficult. You stopped listening when your body said enough and your mind said keep going. Over time, the volume turned down, not because the voice got quieter, but because the noise around it got louder. Learning to hear the voice within again is not about adding something new. It is about removing what is in the way. It is about creating enough silence, enough space, enough gentleness in your life that the voice can reach you again. It speaks in feelings before it speaks in words. A tightening in your chest that says something is not right. A warmth in your belly that says yes, this way. A sudden peace that arrives when you are moving in the direction of your truth. A restlessness that will not leave you alone when you are moving away from it. Your body is the instrument through which this voice plays its music. When you are disconnected from your body, you are disconnected from your knowing. When you return to your body, when you learn to inhabit it again with tenderness and attention, the voice returns. Not because it went anywhere, but because you are finally close enough to hear it. Begin simply. Begin by asking yourself in the quiet of morning or the stillness of evening, what do I actually feel right now? Not what should I feel, not what would make sense to feel, but what is actually here, in this body, in this moment. And then listen. Not with your mind, which will want to analyze and categorize and fix, but with your heart, which already knows the answer. The voice within will never lead you toward harm. It will never ask you to be cruel to yourself or others. It will never demand that you be someone you are not. It will only ever lead you toward more of what is real. And real is not always comfortable, but it is always, always true. Trust it, even when it contradicts everything the world has told you, even when it asks you to be brave in ways you have never been brave, even when it whispers a truth you are not yet ready to live. Trust it. It has been waiting for you to come back to it. And it is so very glad you are here. The voice within has never stopped speaking. You have only to listen, Chapter 5. The First Wound. Every river has a source, every tree has a root, and every pattern of pain in your life, if you trace it back far enough, leads to a single place, the first wound. Not the first time something hurt, because life is full of small hurts that the heart absorbs and releases like waves meeting the shore. But the first time something hurt in a way that changed you. The first time your heart drew a conclusion about the world, about love, about yourself, that you have been living from ever since. You may remember it clearly, a moment etched in your memory with the sharp detail that trauma preserves. The words someone said, the look on their face, the feeling of the floor beneath you or the air around you, the exact texture of the silence that followed. Or you may not remember it at all. Some wounds happen before language, before memory as the mind understands it. They live in the body as sensation, as reflex, as a pattern of response so deep and so automatic that you never think to question it. You simply feel it. The tightening, the withdrawal, the flood of something old and nameless that arrives in situations that should not warrant such a response. The first wound is not always dramatic. It does not require violence or catastrophe. Sometimes it is as quiet as a parent who was there but not there. A mother whose eyes were somewhere else. A father whose love came with conditions so subtle they were felt but never spoken. A moment of being left alone with feelings too big for a small body to hold. What matters is not the size of the wound. What matters is the conclusion you drew from it. And children, because they are children, because the world revolves around them in the way all worlds revolve around their youngest inhabitants, always draw the same conclusion. It was my fault. I was too much. I was not enough. I was wrong. I was unlovable. Something about me caused this. If I had been different, this would not have happened. If I had been better, quieter, smaller, easier, more perfect, then I would have been loved the way I needed to be loved. And from that conclusion, a life was built. Not consciously, not deliberately, but inevitably the way a plant grows toward light, even in the dark. You built your life around avoiding the first wound, around making sure it would never happen again, around proving the conclusion wrong, or around surrendering to it completely. If the wound said you were not enough, you spent your life trying to be more. If the wound said you were too much, you spent your life trying to be less. If the wound said love was not safe, you spent your life keeping love at a distance. If the wound said you had to earn your place, you spent your life performing. But here is the truth the wound could not see, because wounds are not wise, they are only loud. The conclusion was wrong. It was always wrong. You were a child. You were doing your best in a world that was doing its best, which was not always good enough. The fault was never yours. You do not need to go back and relive the wound to heal it. You only need to go back and correct the conclusion. To place your hand on the chest of the child you were and say, with all the authority of the adult you have become, it was not your fault. You were enough. You were always enough. And the love you needed was not wrong to need. The first wound was the beginning of your forgetting, and naming it gently, tenderly, without judgment, is the beginning of your remembering. The wound was never the truth of you. It was only the place where the truth got buried. Chapter 6. The Child Who Waits. Inside you, right now, in this very moment, there is a child. Not a metaphor, not a concept. A living, breathing presence that has been with you every day of your life, waiting with a patience that would break your heart if you let yourself feel it. This child is the you before the world got to you. Before the masks, before the wounds, before the forgetting. They are sitting somewhere inside your chest, your belly, your throat, wherever you carry your deepest feelings, and they are waiting for one thing. They are waiting for you. Not for someone else, not for a partner or a parent or a savior. They have waited for those people before, and those people, however well-meaning, could never quite reach the place where the child lives, because that place is yours. Only yours. And the child knows this even if you do not. Close your eyes for a moment if you are willing. Take a slow breath. And imagine yourself walking down a long hallway inside your own heart. At the end of the hallway, there is a room. And in that room, sitting quietly, is you. The young you. The small you, the you that the world forgot to protect. What do they look like? What are they wearing? What expression is on their face? Are they crying? Are they silent? Are they turned away, too hurt to look up? Or are they looking at you with eyes so full of hope that it makes something inside you ache? You do not need to say anything perfect. You do not need a speech. You only need to do what no one did or what was not done enough at the moment when it mattered most. Be there. Sit down beside them. Let them know they are not alone. Let them know they are not in trouble. Let them know that you, the grown-up version of them, have come back for them. Finally, at last, this child carries your original wound, but they also carry your original wholeness, your unedited laughter, your uninhibited curiosity, your natural trust, your effortless joy. They carry everything the world taught you to hide, and they have been keeping it safe for you all this time. In the quiet room inside your heart. Some days this child will need comfort. They will rise up in moments of rejection or fear, and the feelings that flood you will be too big for the situation because they are not about the situation. They are about the original moment, the first time you felt that way. And in those moments, instead of pushing the feelings down or judging yourself for having them, you can turn inward and say, I see you. I feel you. I am here. We are going to be okay. This is the practice of inner parenting, of becoming for yourself what you needed and did not fully receive. It is the most radical act of self-love there is, because it reaches the part of you that is youngest, most vulnerable, and most in need of tenderness. The child who waits inside you does not need you to be perfect. They need you to be present. They do not need you to have all the answers. They need you to stay. That is all. That has always been all. Just stay. And when you do, something extraordinary happens. The child begins to trust again. Not the world. Not yet. But you. And that trust, the trust between you and the youngest part of yourself, is the foundation upon which everything else is built. The child inside you has been waiting. Go to them. They have so much to show you. Chapter 7. The Weight of Words. Words are not just sounds, they are seeds. And the words that were planted in you when you were young took root in the soil of your being and grew into beliefs so deep you mistook them for facts. You are too sensitive. You are not smart enough. You are difficult. You are selfish for wanting what you want. You will never amount to anything. Who do you think you are? What is wrong with you? You should be ashamed. Perhaps these words were spoken directly by voices you trusted, voices you loved, voices you depended on for your very survival. Perhaps they were never spoken aloud at all, but communicated through sighs and silences, and the 1,000 small ways a person can make another person feel like a problem. Either way, you absorb them. Children do not have the ability to question the words of their caregivers. They do not have the distance to say, "This says more about you than it does about me." They take the words in like air. They build their sense of self from the raw materials they are given. And if the raw materials were criticism and conditional love and impossible standards, then the self they built was never going to feel like home. The cruelest thing about the weight of words is that you carry them long after the voices have stopped speaking. The parent may have changed. The teacher may have retired. The bully may have grown up and become a different person entirely. But the words remain, replaying in your head like a song you never chose to learn. And over time, the most devastating thing happens. The voice becomes your own. You no longer need anyone else to criticize you. You do it yourself, fluently, automatically, in a voice so familiar you think it is the truth. You look in the mirror and hear it. You make a mistake and hear it. You dare to want something and hear it. You are not enough. You are too much. You are wrong. But here is what the voice never tells you. It is not yours. It was given to you. It was installed in you by people who were themselves carrying voices that were installed in them by people carrying voices before that, a chain of inherited pain stretching back further than any of us can trace. You did not choose these words, and you do not have to keep them. Releasing the weight of words is not about pretending they were never spoken. It is not about forgiving before you are ready. It is about recognizing that the words were never the truth. They were the pain of someone else, expressed in the only language they knew, landing on a heart too young to know the difference. Begin by noticing. The next time you hear that inner voice of criticism, pause. Ask yourself, whose voice is this really? When did I first hear these words? And would I speak this way to a child I loved? The answer to that last question will tell you everything you need to know. You have the right to put these words down, to set them on the ground like heavy stones you have been carrying in your pockets for years. You can acknowledge that they existed. You can honor the pain they caused. And then you can walk away, lighter, freer, with your hands open and your heart unburdened. New words are waiting for you. Words you will speak to yourself in the voice of someone who loves you without conditions. We will learn that language together in the chapters still ahead. The words that wounded you were never the truth. It is time to put them down. Chapter 8. The River of Grief. You have lost things. Not only the obvious losses, the people who left, the relationships that ended, the doors that closed, but the quiet losses, the ones no one saw, the ones that have no name and no funeral and no sympathy card. The loss of the childhood you should have had. The loss of the innocence that was taken too soon. The loss of the years you spent performing instead of living. The loss of the self you might have been if the world had been gentler with you. These losses are real, and they deserve to be grieved. But grief is the feeling most of us were taught to fear. We were taught to be strong, which somehow came to mean dry-eyed and functional. We were taught to move on as if the heart operates on a schedule. We were taught that tears are weakness, that sadness is self-pity, that looking backward is a waste of time when there is so much moving forward to be done. And so the grief stayed, unshed, unspoken, unfelt, sitting in your body like water behind a dam, pressing quietly against everything you do, showing up as exhaustion you cannot explain, as anger that flares at small things, as a heaviness that settles over you on certain days for no reason you can name, like a sky that turns grey without warning. Grief is not your enemy. It is the river that carries the pain from inside you to the world outside. When you allow yourself to grieve, you are not falling apart. You are falling into the arms of something larger than yourself. Something ancient, something deeply, profoundly human. Every culture in history has understood the sacredness of grief, the need for wailing, for keening, for sitting in ashes, for letting the body do what the body needs to do when the heart is overwhelmed. We are the ones who forgot. We are the ones who decided that grief was a problem to be managed, rather than a river to be entered. Let yourself enter it. Not all at once if that feels like too much, but in small, safe doses, in the privacy of your own room, in the arms of someone you trust, on a walk where no one can see you. Wherever grief wants to move through you, let it move. You may cry for things that happened decades ago. You may cry and not know what you are crying about. That is the body releasing what the mind never processed. Trust it. The body knows what it is doing. It has been waiting a long time for permission. Grief is not linear. It does not have stages that proceed in an orderly fashion from beginning to end. It comes in waves. Some waves are gentle, like a sadness that washes over you during a song or a sunset. Some waves are fierce, pulling you under so completely that you forget there is air above you. Both kinds are necessary. Both kinds are holy. And when the wave passes, and it will always pass, you will find that something has shifted, that the weight is a little lighter, that the air is a little clearer, that the space where the grief was stored is now available for something else, something softer, something warmer, something that feels, if only for a moment, like freedom. Do not rush through this season of your healing. Grief takes as long as it takes, and every tear is a testament to how deeply you have loved, how fully you have lived, how bravely you have held what was yours to hold. Let the river of grief carry what you were never meant to hold alone. Chapter 9. The Art of Surrender. You have been holding on to pain that is not yours to carry, holding on to outcomes you cannot control, holding on to people who have already gone, holding on to a version of reality that exists only in your hope or your fear, never in the present moment. Your hands are tired. Your shoulders ache from the weight of it. And somewhere inside you, there is a knowing that the holding is not helping, that the tighter you grip, the more exhausted you become, that the thing you are most afraid of letting go of is the very thing that is keeping you from the life that is waiting for you. Surrender is the most misunderstood word in the language of healing. It sounds like giving up. It sounds like weakness. It sounds like lying down in the middle of the road and letting the world drive over you. But that is not what surrender means. Not here. Not in the language of the heart. Surrender means opening your hands. It means trusting that what needs to stay will stay, and what needs to go will go, and that you do not always need to be the one deciding which is which. It means acknowledging that your control was always an illusion, a beautiful, elaborate illusion that gave you the feeling of safety while keeping you from the experience of freedom. Think of a river. A river does not force its way to the sea. It does not worry about the rocks in its path. It does not stop flowing because the terrain gets difficult. It simply moves. It finds the path of least resistance and follows it, not because it is lazy, but because it trusts the landscape to guide it. You are the river, and the life you are meant to live is the sea. But between here and there are rocks and bends and rapids that you have been trying to control, rearrange, and remove for years. Surrender is not about giving up on the sea. It is about trusting the water, about letting yourself flow. What are you holding on to right now? What is the weight that has taken up permanent residence in your chest? Is it the way things should have been, the person who should have stayed, the love you should have received, the justice that should have been done? Should is a word that keeps you chained to a reality that does not exist. And every moment you spend in should is a moment you are absent from what is. What is may not be perfect. It may not be what you wanted, but it is real. And only in the real can anything new begin. Surrendering does not mean you agree with what happened. It does not mean you condone the hurt. It does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop letting the past occupy the present. It means you release your grip on the rope and discover that the thing you thought was keeping you from falling was actually keeping you from flying. There is a prayer that lives in the heart of every person who has ever healed. It has many versions, but they all say the same thing. I cannot carry this anymore. I give it to something larger than myself. I trust that I will be held. You do not need to know what you are giving it to. Call it God. Call it the universe. Call it life. Call it the deepest part of yourself that knows things your mind has not yet caught up to. The name does not matter. What matters is the opening of your hands. What matters is the breath that follows the letting go. What matters is the lightness that arrives when you finally stop trying to carry the ocean. Surrender is not the end of strength. It is where true strength begins.